To this now, the remains of 49 anti-apartheid activists exiled in Zambia and Zimbabwe will return to South Africa tomorrow. Families will gather at the Waterkloof Airforce Base in Centurion as part of the government's exile repatriation program. Newzroom Afrika's Ngcobo has more.
Digging for truth and closure, families who've long sought their missing loved ones are finally at the end of a rather arduous process. They've worked with the government on its repatriation program, which on Wednesday will mark the return of 49 remains of freedom fighters who fell while in exile in Zambia and Zimbabwe during the struggle. Their returns are 30 years in the making.
You are dealing with two nations that have their own laws governing human remains. And then, of course, you also have South Africans and the families of these individuals that have a vested interest in giving them a dignified burial. So it's an extremely complex process outside of just finding out where exactly these individuals are. There are thousands of these individuals throughout Africa and all over the world. And this also involves having to survey and verify the locations of the graves, and then also testing to see if it is in fact these individuals.
The Truth and Reconciliation Unit within the Justice Department, which was established in 2006, has been at the forefront of this process. It's worked closely with other government entities and the families of those who died in exile. In the past 30 years of democracy, the repatriation of struggle heroes has often been prolonged by international laws governing exhumation of remains in each country, and the various changes in governments have also stalled processes.
There are between 1,000 to 1,500 deceased exiles, South African exiles, whose remains are also likely to be repatriated. At this point, we are not sure if all of them are going to be, but so far, all the families that participated were traced, were properly briefed in respect of understanding all the processes that are going to unfold, starting with pre-exhumation proceedings, the actual exhumations, as well as repatriation and subsequent reburials that are going to be conducted in different provinces in this country.
The ANC has helped oversee the exhumations of some of its former liberation fighters and believes the families have a spiritual connection to this process.
And you could see the happiness and the cry and the tears that were coming down as they were now saying this moment has finally arrived. And thank you, government, and thank you, ANC. Majority of them, obviously, they are ANC members, but will be repatriating everybody, whatever the liberation movement that had lost their people, PAC, ANC, and the BCM at the time, the Black Consciousness Movement. So whenever we find those graves, we will definitely do it.
On Tuesday, while marking Heritage Day celebrations, Deputy President Paul Mashatile reflected on some of the struggle heroes whose remains will land at the Waterkloof Airforce Base on Wednesday afternoon.
On the 27th of September, we will have a big event in which President Ramaphosa will officially receive the repatriated remains from Zambia and Zimbabwe. Advocate Dumanokwe, Mama Florence Muposho, and Basil February.
President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to lead the official homecoming ceremony at Freedom Park on Friday. While it's taken 3 decades to have the chance to pay their respects to their loved ones, for these families, it's surely better late than never. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ziyanda Ngcobo in Johannesburg.